Over the next 30 minutes or so, we are going to be putting together a complete Finish Links package. I'll go through identifying the components, the different things that come together within the structure of the BW Track and Field Finish Links package. In my videotaping studio today, I have set up technically a finish line and a press box. The computer and the table, of course, are your press box. I have a camera pole and we have a finish line. We'll be aligning the camera to this particular finish line as we go through. In the all-weather tub that you see there are several components that are all part of the BW package, and we'll be going through and identifying those as we proceed. We hope that this video will give old, new, existing operators a reminder of things that you need to do, things that you need to plug in, and doing it correctly. So first and foremost, when your package arrives, you will have several different things. Out of the box, you will have the camera case with all the wires and the camera in it. You will have the remote positioning unit, and within the box there will be a reel of 500 feet of gun cable to be used in case you forgot to charge your battery on your transmitter, those types of things, etc. You can plug this in and can make fully automatic starts. Within the box will be a a white box. This has your wireless start in it. The units here include the gray receiving unit, which will plug into the camera. We'll hang that up on our pole for the moment. And you will have a transmitting unit, which will, the starter will carry with him as he walks through the different starts lines. We're charging it up at the present time. Also, you will have a plexiglass all-weather cover that simply slips down over the camera, provides great protection from any and all weather conditions. We'll move some of this stuff out of the way so that we can proceed. Opening the camera case, we'll go through and identify the different components contained here. Your owner's manual, great reading, bedside reading for several months. The button splitter that allows you to capture. Your capture button hooks up to one side of it, and if you're hooking up to a scoreboard, that's set on the other side. USB to serial with a driver inside. You want to be able to install this so that your computer will recognize it and know what port it's being. I have one already installed on my computer. You will have your Finish Links software disk, and you will be installing two different items, the Finish Links software and the Radiolinks RL. Both of them have serial numbers, and as you go through the setup wizard, it'll come on and ask for those serial numbers as you go through. My computer already has a Finish Links software package on it, so we will be installing this one later. We'll set those off to the side. Your Finish Links camera, and these are the new 2000 cameras. Remote control zoom lens on the front side. All of the connections are marked on the back side. from connection box, remote control, the electrical power input, and the wireless start will connect in here. So we'll set him here. Your electrical receiving unit will attach to our camera pole. This part here plugs in and screws into the back side of the camera. Two different Cat 5s. One Cat 5 will be from camera down into the C-box. The other Cat 5 will go from C-box all the way up to the press box, and we'll put those together as we go. Your gray cable, the back of the camera to the C-box. And our C-box is the purple box that will be sitting down in the tub. Right now it has a white gun sensor plugged into it. This white gun sensor goes with the reel of gun cable only. Only. The wireless start that you'll be using has a red sensor that goes to it. So we'll open this up. You can't plug this in wrong. Male to female, female to male, they only go one direction. This will sit under the camera at the finish line in the tub. And we'll just slide it right in there for right now so that he's into the tub. The other side will go to our camera once it's in place. The electrical cable, of course, will plug into our universal power supply and always be available to give us the battery backup that we may need. We'll plug him in, and he will also, let's turn this guy around, we'll plug in here and have that available and ready to plug our camera in. The Cat 5s, the one Cat 5 will plug in at the C-box and go to the camera. And on the C-box you'll see two Cat 5 ports, either or. It doesn't make any difference which side you plug into for this particular or for the other particular cable. And we'll have that right here for when our camera gets up here. We have our geared head, camera clamp, so that we can clamp onto the arm on the pole. And we want to set this, normally it would be in the area of 10 to 12 feet high, and we'd want to be at a 45-degree angle down to the track. So right now I'm just going to set this onto the camera arm, onto the pole arm here. Get it aligned a little bit. We have our capture button. We talked about our button splitter. Our button splitter, one says connect to scoreboard, one says connect to capture button. So we slide those together. And we'll hook that button splitter up to our USB to serial connector that goes into the computer. This plate snaps into our clamp, and this plate will go on to the bottom of the camera to set it in place. We'll move our case out of the way here for the moment, and we'll bring our remote positioning unit into play. Has its cable, and on the side 2 serial connectors, either or, remote control zoom lens, and our remote control cable, the little gray one here, will go to the back of the camera. So we'll put this on, finish links to the front, this will go on the bottom of the camera. Yeah. If we can find the hole that we want to screw things into. Tightening this positioning unit down. One tip that I will normally do in putting the positioning unit on here, I will normally put a piece of duct tape or something in underneath, as I don't like metal to metal. And then we put our plate on and align that. So we are set up at this point in time to attach that unit to the clamp. We're going to be putting, and again I said either or on the side. We can be putting the remote control zoom lens together here. And our remote control cable. The metal is a little bit cold out here in the garage today, as it's only 15 degrees outside. Hopefully that when you're setting up for your track meets, the temperature is a lot warmer than this. Our next step will be to attach each of the different cables to the back of the camera and snap the camera in place onto the clamp, onto the plate that we have in place over there. So that will be our next step. And we'll start it out right here with going to the remote control unit, remote control plug-in. You always want to make sure that your plug-ins are seated so that when your camera comes up that it is talking correctly to the computer. I'll proceed with the setups. Plugging in the connection box cable, that's our gray cable. Plugging in the wireless start. The red plug-in will go there, and plugging in our Cat 5. At this point, I've completed the plug-ins on the back of the camera, and we'll proceed to open up Finish Links. I'll zoom in on the computer face so that we have a better view of what goes on, what we're going to be doing. I've already installed, or have installed on my computer, a Finish Links package. So when you install your Finish Links software and put in your serial numbers, the following things will also be happening for you. So I'm going to click on the icon for Finish Links. And we'll be opening the Finish Links up. Down here in the lower right-hand corner, you will see green bars going through. When the camera loads, you will see this particular white line across the top with all your factory settings on it. And we'll be going through and talking about the different settings. Once the camera is loaded, we will be opening with the red, at the red stop sign. We'll put the cursor on it and click to it, and you will see the first of our different. Let's see where our camera is aimed right now. Normally, you're going to be up 10 to 12 feet in the air and 10 to 12 feet back from the track. What I tried to do here today was at least give us something that would give us a little bit of an idea of what the finish line and the camera would look like. You would now go to, and we can move the camera back and forth. Over here on the right hand side, you will see the arrows. The top 6 arrows are for your positioning unit, and so we can move the camera from one side to the other, take it off the finish line totally and completely, and if we go back the other direction, we'll come back to our finish line by pressing and holding. See if we can get a little air. We're getting a little better finish line. At this point in time, sorry about that, we had a little equipment malfunction. Oh, there I am going across the finish line. A couple of items on the screen as we have it right now. Number one, the computer screen, the icons, when you point at them with the cursor, they will always tell you what that particular icon does. Right now I'm putting the cursor on the arrows, and down in the lower left-hand corner it says positioner right. And remember, that's how the camera is looking at the track. So if we come up top and we look at the far top left, there's a yellow greenish type box, and it says create a new event and arm it to receive the next start. So each icon will always, when you point at it, will tell you what it does as you're working your way through. I'm going to go in now and do a few of the camera settings. You can only get in this blue eye over here on the left-hand corner. The only time you can get into the blue eye is when the camera is up and operational. So we'll open that up and we'll go to Setup. And the camera name, Image Orientation. If your camera is set inside of the track, then the image orientation is left. If you're set to the outside of the track, then the image orientation is right. So out right, in would be left. Identify by, and we want to identify by lanes. Number of lanes on the track, we'll put those in there. And we're going to do 8-lane track. The rest are camera settings that are put in at the factory. We'll click on parameters now. We're going to move our frame rate. We found that the frame rate that works best for high schools is 750 frames. Gives us a very good picture. We're shooting at 750 frames a second. We can shoot up to 1,000. Our AJC is on, our brightness is on, our gain is on. And we'll go to inputs. Now, because we're using a wireless start on this particular computer, on this camera setup, at inputs, we're going to click Start Sensor None at that particular point. If you were going to use your reel of gun cable with the white sensor, then that's a normally closed sensor, so you would be over here and you would click on close. For our particular situation right now, our start sensor is set at none. Under radio links, we are connected into with our receiving unit. If you remember the gray unit, that's at camera back, and we want to click on start sensor, and that will show start ID at 000. And we want to make sure that our capture is set to manual, because we have a capture button plugged into our button splitter on our USB to serial connection. And so we'll click OK. Out of there. The other place we're going to go is to File. We're going to go to Options. And we're going to, first one that we're going to be at is General. And we want to make sure that our capture button is set to the correct COM port. The port that we have selected with our USB to serial with the driver that we installed. So we're set on COM4, which is where my particular computer is set. Under Event, we can just leave that one alone at the moment. Two items here that, just for your note, we'll be doing another video later on high-tech communication and how the high-tech information is shared with Finish Links, and the event directory and backup directory will be two items that will be discussed at that time. Those will be the shared folders that come over from high-tech. Under Image, the top items will be on the toolbar, which I'll show you in a minute. I'm going to show lines, and I'm going to show them, I like them in red. We'll go to Results, and again there will be a toolbar that will be up here in the upper right when we've got an event loaded. And our default precision is in hundreds. Our database, and again there's two items here that deal with Finish Links and high-tech. Input directory, output directory. And those will be the shared folder that comes over from high-tech that you'll want to have in there. Under Scoreboard, if those of you that are connecting to a scoreboard, whether it's a Daktronics, a Fairplay, a Spectrum, a Nevco, any numerous different situations out there, you would make sure that you have that scoreboard up. It was shown as running. You would have the script correct, and again the port would be the same COM port as your capture button. And Lynx is capable of running 2, 3, 4 different scoreboards, but you have to have each one set in here. Our running time would be normal, our results would be auto, always set in place, paging size depending on the scoreboard. If you've got a one-line scoreboard out there, that paging size would be 1. So we can click OK on all of our settings, and for this particular opportunity we will do create a blank event and set it up so that this is the screen now that you're done aligning, you're on the finish line, and you're ready to do capture an event. So we show in the blue area here A, C, and S. Means we're armed, we're ready to capture, and we have a scoreboard set up. We see our capture button logo, it's ready to be capturing, and right here by the clock it says armed. So if we have enough battery charge in right now, if we just get a tap on our start sensor, we have our yellow clock up and running when the gun went off and the percussion set off the gun sensor. And if we reach over here to our capture button, it starts to open the window. And if it's a sprint race, you would just press and hold. If it's a distance race, you press as the runner came to the finish line, press, capture him up, the next person is lapped, and so you don't want them, you just leave your finger off the red button. In this particular case, I'm going to go ahead and start capturing, and then I'll give us some athletes running through the finish line, hopefully. See if we can get some of those. Conclusion of the race. If you're running a scoreboard, Alt-S would stop the running time on the clock or on your scoreboard clock out on the field. You would come then to the, what I call, it looks like a 90-degree paper clip. It's auto capture, and again it will tell you that down here in the lower left-hand side. We're going to press that, and our images then come back into view. We would put our cursor on the torso of the first one, look at the hit number or see which lane they're in, and we'll call this lane 5, hit enter, and that will put first place, lane 5, and the time up here on the left. So once you've gone through and done this with all 8 or whatever number of athletes were in that particular race, you would then go to, you can go several different places. You can go up here to File, Save As, and that will put it back into it. If it's a high-tech event, it will have a name to it already, so you can just hit Save, and that'll put it back in the folder, and you can prepare for the next event. All of these different things will come up automatically. You can't throw away an event without the computer coming on and asking you, do you want to save this or do you want to throw it away? So in each case you want to make sure that you're determining whether or not you want to save that particular file, that particular event, and whichever way you want to do it. So you just go down the line, put the cursor on the torso of the athlete, and you put their lane or hit number in, and it will automatically put them in the correct place up here. Once we've finished with the event And whether or not you go up here and you click that, it will come on and ask you, do you want to save it? Yes, no, whichever way you want to go, and we'll put on here, yes, we want to save it, and it will open up, what do you want to call it, and you can give it a name, and hit save, and then if we bring up another event, clock goes back to 00, you don't ever need to worry about that. It shows that we've got our ACS, we're armed, ready to capture, and we have our scoreboard, shows armed, and you're now ready to run the next event. Hopefully that this will be some reminders as to the different things that go on. We're going to be doing a third video clip on setting up FinishLinks, high-tech, networking the computers together, and how to make all of that happen. We've already done one clip that we will be posting that shows setting up, and it was at an indoor facility, but the different things to go through in aligning the camera and making sure that you're on the finish line. So hopefully these will become some very good things that will help you as you go through and prepare for the spring. When the snow disappears, if you practice through a couple of times, hopefully you will be able to make these things happen without any problem.